So Monkey Kid Season 4 came out. Yeah, don't feel bad if you're not in the loop about this one. It's just as much of a surprise to the entire fandom as it is for you right now, if you don't already know. Like, I remember way back during Season 3, it was a shock then, and then we had a trailer to go off of, and the release of the sets aligned with the drop of the entire season, so at least we were prepared for Season 3's arrival. Maybe not like the entire season randomly dropping one afternoon, but there's definitely signs. When I say Season 4 was sudden, I mean really sudden. The entire thing just dropped one day with no context, and people are still scrambling to translate it while I'm writing the script. There was no trailer. The sets were revealed way back last year, November. It was just completely unprecedented, and I think the fandom is still coping with this. That being said, though, all chaos aside, I think this season has brought my favorite villain so far, and I'm going to talk about that obviously, so spoilers for Season 4, and if you haven't seen it already, I'll provide links to the original episodes in the doc, with currently subbed episodes in the description so you can get caught up. Currently, it's all in Mandarin, but like I mentioned before, fans are currently racing to subtitle the episodes little by little. So I currently don't have the full context for the whole season, and I'm just writing the script based off of what I know now. God, I'm really excited for this season's villain, but I gotta get my thoughts straight first. So first, I want to go through a quick rundown of each season's main villain and how we led up to this point. Okay, so first off with the Demon Bull family, they were an extremely strong start to our series. They don't really say anything about like the cast on a symbolic level, but honestly they don't need to. The Demon Bull family existed purely as a way to show off the team's talents with like writing and character dynamics and just in general writing characters. That's something Monkey Kid especially has been so strong with it like this entire time. They're just really good at writing characters, and the Demon Bull family was great at being an example of that. Narratively, they served as a force for the good characters to fight against, and we loved them for that. The Demon Bull family arc is still one of the most memorable, not because of any deep symbolism that exists in their narrative, but the characters and the interaction themselves were just peak. It's really fun writing, and as a whole, it really complemented the entire season, back when things were simple, and the only thing MK and the rest of the cast had to worry about were things like property damage and just having too much fun. The Demon Bull family arc didn't need to say anything on a super meta or deep level. It was just a good show. They were having a fun time with a fun cast of villainous characters. And then Season 2 happens. Season 2 introduces the Spider Queen and also the Lady Bone Demon. Seasons 2 to 3 is where we get a lot more intense with our narrative. The Spider Queen exists as an antagonist in the same way the Demon Bull King does. Fun, but ultimately a target to fling darts and giggle about. The Spider Queen exists in the same vein as a character like the Demon Bull King. They're really effective as an antagonist, but their character themselves is written to be so villainous to the point it's just comical. As the series gains a heavier tone, we see less of the Spider Queen and more of the Lady Bone Demon. We could see this metaphorically as the old version of the show dying with her. This is obviously extremely fitting for what the Lady Bone Demon is meant to symbolize. Say it with me.
Your destiny. Destiny, destiny, destiny.
By the time of Season 3, not only is the Spider Queen literally killed off, but the show is a lot more intense because of it. We barely saw the Demon Bull family, no interactions from comic relief characters like Yin and Jin, and the question the Lady Bone Demon has about destiny is looming over the plot. The Lady Bone Demon was an insanely cool antagonist. We literally witnessed the plot succumb to her destiny. Her seeds were always there from the very beginning, and we get to witness her roots infect and take over the narrative until our heroes are pushed to their limits. One of my main fears for the upcoming season was definitely the new antagonist not living up to her legacy. The Lady Bone Demon arc as a whole, seasons 1 to 3, were such a clean-cut open and closed narrative. It would be so hard to continue in its footsteps, but I'm honestly really lucky to say I'm officially excited for what this new arc is setting up. The new villain extends on themes the Lady Bone Demon brought up instead of overriding them. The ball is in MK's court now. He doesn't have to worry about destiny. He spent an entire season learning that that's what he's in control of. What he fears is what he does with that destiny. There's a sort of comfort that exists in knowing there's a plan for you, that you have a destiny, and that you're destined for something great. Immediately in the first episode, we set up a tone. A conversation with Sun Wukong reveals that MK is obsessed with his mistakes. He's a hero, sure, but who's to say he wasn't destined to be that way in the first place? All he's shown up to this point was mistake after mistake. He is in control of his destiny, but how can he trust himself with that? This all comes to a head when he accidentally opens a scroll and releases this thing. Whatever this thing is embodies whatever its target's deepest shame is. Its first target happens to be Sun Wukong, and for Sun Wukong, his failures happen to be his past relationships. As the Blue Lion says, quote, he doesn't like getting close to people, which, damn, yeah. The ink demon immediately takes form of his friends, and that really says something. When you keep in mind that all of the people the ink demon transforms into when targeting Sun Wukong are people he doesn't associate with anymore. Relationships that ended due to his immaturity and impulsiveness and or neglect. And please think of the fact that the first person, aka the first source of shame in Sun Wukong's mind, takes its form as macaque. God. But this isn't a Sun Wukong video. I'm actually working on a massive one right now that currently sits at 8,288 words as we speak, and I'm not even halfway done with that script-wise because I just got done with finals and other obstacles like commissions. That's besides the point though. So far, the scene that this season's villain is most iconic for, I guess, has to be when instead of antagonizing Wukong, he goes after MK instead. For Sun Wukong, his shame lies in those he hurt, the impulsive decisions he made, and how he'd never consider how those would collapse on others, and any, relationship he'd attempt to make would eventually be destroyed by his own impulse. On the other hand, for MK, his deepest source of shame is himself. So naturally, this demon knows to hit him where it hurts. See, MK is interesting. He looks up to Wukong and admires him a lot. He even mirrors him in a lot of ways, which is really interesting. They're complete opposites. As much as MK would argue otherwise, he tries to force himself to fit in this mold that the Monkey King left for him. He goes about it by idolizing the worst aspects of his hero. Where other people see red flags and clear signs pointing to why all of his relationships seem to fail, MK is willing to look over them.
In no state to waste his time on mere mortals, especially now I don't have my powers.
Whoa, he told you that?
We have a very honest relationship, Pigsy. Besides, that kind of mystic monkey meditation requires complete focus, apparently. Excuse me?
Oh, MK.
It's actually a theme I had noticed leading up to this point and way back during season 1 that MK is slowly embodying the worst parts of Sun Wukong unintentionally. Back during season 3, just for one example, during the City of Lanterns episode, we see symptoms of this with how he starts to treat Mr. Tang, and then this leads to Macaque basically saying and insisting that you just like me for real, and then led to the fight, and I don't know, I'm not talking about season 3 here. So, in one of the ways MK mirrors Sun Wukong in his actions is his self-obsession. MK is obsessed with himself, and this doesn't steep from a place like Wukong, where Wukong's self-image comes from pure pride and even to some extent vanity. MK's obsession with himself stems from his obsession with his own actions and mistakes. He can't stop thinking about every mistake and every flaw and all the ways he fucks up and how he feels he's never going to be enough. He can't handle the responsibility of his own destiny. What was that, the Lady Think Bone Demon scene at the end of season 3?
That pursuit only leads to one thing.
To destiny, right?
No. To pain.
God, she's such a cool fucking villain. Anyways, I know the fandom has been calling this antagonist Ink MK and things along that line, but I think this does a disservice to what his real existence is as a threat. He's not just MK, he embodies what people hate about themselves, and for MK that happens to be literally just himself. It's like peak self-loathing. Also, it's worthy to mention that when antagonizing MK, he also transforms into Sun Wukong and his friends. I don't have a translation for this part yet, but I'm positive it's along the lines of this villain basically repeating to MK what he thinks Sun Wukong and his friends think of him. You know, hit him where it hurts, and more examples of how MK's source of shame is just himself and how he projects his own image to other people. Eventually, this leads to MK literally pulling a Wukong and leaving his friends behind in a scene that literally mimics Sun Wukong leaving the group back in season 3. More merit to the idea that MK is just mimicking and adapting to Sun Wukong's worst traits. That just goes to say, though, FYI, Sun Wukong definitely cares about MK. It's definitely took him a while to get where he is now, where he's genuinely comfortable around him and cares about him, but, you know, he cares about him nonetheless. Whether intentional or not, he just ends up hurting people closest to him due to his own impulse. Again, this is mirrored in the way the Ink Demon embodies the people he hurt and disappointed in life. I do eventually go into more depth about Sun Wukong and MK's relationship in the Monkey King essay video I'm working on, so stay tuned for that. I just really wanted to get my thoughts down on paper about this season's villain and this arc going forward, because God knows I could verbalize all of this in a single Twitter thread. I just hope to make more videos like this in the future. Obviously, there's a massive Sun Wukong video that I'm working on, which will cover a lot more of Monkey Kid related things I have thoughts about. Because, like, the thing about Monkey Kid is you need to know everything about Sun Wukong and how he functions and how his stupid little monkey brain operates. Because he is literally symbolically the sun. The entire story revolves around him like he is the sun in the solar system. It's interesting, and he has a lot of symbolism I want to cover, and he makes me sick. In general, though, I have a massive passion for character and media analysis, so this is definitely something I'm excited and interested about, like, making in the future. Other than that, I don't know, like and subscribe. It'll encourage me to keep making videos. Watch Monkey Kid if you haven't already, and I don't know, rest well.